What's going on, guys? John here, Wolf of Ecom, and I wanted to make this video to share with you my biggest mistakes I've made in Shopify dropshipping and e-commerce, all right? And the reason why I felt this was so important is I've been making a lot of more technical videos that break down like step-by-step tutorials and step-through guides. Like you can get our free mini course by scrolling down on this exact video, which we show you everything from A to Z, from setting up a store, finding product, launching, testing, and potentially scaling. You gotta wait to see what we actually do. Now, in the meantime, what I did want to share with you is the 7 things I do believe you need to hear as you begin Shopify dropshipping, or maybe you've been doing it for some time. All these things are either good reminders or good first-hand lessons. The reason I want to share these with you is so you don't make these same expensive mistakes with your time and money like I have. I've lost stupid amounts of money trying to figure this stuff out, both through paying people and doing things on my own. And thankfully, fortunately, I've got myself back into a really good position, and I've learned from those mistakes, and I don't continue to make them. Because one of the first things that I actually want to mention is a lot of people get stuck in their ways with dropshipping. They think they need to find the same products, approach them the same way, pricing is the same way. And that's actually one of my first things I wanted to tell you, is to be more flexible in your approach and what you try, what you do. But the real first thing on my list was listening to too many people. How many times do you find yourself listening to this expert, and then this expert, and then this YouTube video that came up, and then this video that was suggested to you, right? So all those things are going to confuse you, overwhelm you, overload you. Not to forget all the Facebook groups you've probably been joining to dabble and learn more about Shopify dropshipping. You're gonna see all sorts of things, theories, ideas, and methods, and people trying to sell you stuff. And I can promise you, if you listen to too many people, you're gonna get nothing done, you're gonna be overwhelmed, you're gonna be stressed out, and you're gonna lose a lot of money and time. So that is the first thing. What I recommend you do is you connect with one person or a group of people, and you learn everything you can from those people, because everyone has something to teach, right? Whether we're talking about e-commerce or just life in general, everyone that has experience has something to give and share with you. So if you're receptive and open to that, and you focus on 1-2 people, maybe a group of people following one method, one approach, you will become more successful faster. The second thing is not trusting your gut. There's so many times where I just did things because I saw that it's the way it's done, or I listened to a group of people or someone I connected with that suggested I do it because they were doing it. I would feel in my gut that maybe it wasn't the best thing at that time, maybe scaling up the big budgets, it was just too early, and then I lost a bunch of money looking back at it, and I was like, like if I just trust my gut in those situations, then I would have been way more successful a lot faster. I wouldn't have had to lose a bunch of money and make it back and then get myself into a good place, which is what a lot of people end up doing. It's why a lot of people fail with Shopify dropshipping. Most people will not succeed. You starting this business, you signing up for this, you should know that you most likely have the odds against you unless you're willing to find a way to problem solve consistently and every time something comes up your way. Because whether it's PayPal holding your money, whether it's your supplier leaving you hanging, whether it's Facebook locking you out of your personal profile for 2, 3, 4, 5 days at a time for whatever security reason, right? All these things will come up as you continue to grow and be successful. And the funny thing is, yes, you'll deal with some annoying, frustrating things with Facebook, your merchants, your banks, whatever it may be, when you're first starting out and you're dabbling, you're spending a little money, you're testing things. But as you scale up to 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50K in a day, that's when things get really crazy. And maybe you see the problems show up 2, 3, 4 weeks later that actually happened today. Let's say you scaled up really aggressively, you're selling 1,000 units of something a day, and everything is great, your merchant's fine, you're getting big deposits of cash into your bank account the next day, you're paying off your credit cards, whatever it may be, and then your supplier messages the next day and says, hey, we got a problem. We're not gonna have this back in stock for 2 or 3 weeks. Guess what? That's 2 to 3 weeks for producing the product. And then, of course, there's the picking, the packing, and the shipping time that goes with that, whether you're out of the US, whether you're out of China. There's gonna be a lead time, right? So it's gonna create a lot of headaches. Just know that these are good problems. I'd rather have that problem than have nothing selling. So Keep that in your mind as you grow, as you expand, as you push yourself, when you trust your gut and you listen to the right people. The next thing is believing all the hype and numbers that gurus, there's a lot of freaking gurus. I'm not a guru. I'm just a guy that does this, and I like helping people, which is why we built our course, which is actually just a playbook that our community uses, which you could check out and get a really good price on. If you scroll down on this page, you can see the link there. Check it out. You won't regret it. And really what I want to say here is that there's a lot of people that are going to put up big numbers because big numbers are very attractive. If you see someone does 100K in one day, you have no idea how much their product costs, how many chargebacks they had, if they're BSing, if they're actually not fulfilling the thing, and if they spend 90K to make 100K in sales just to make a course that you buy, and they make all their profits from the course and lose money selling the product. I know people that have done this. It's not cool. It's messed up. They're scamming you and they're scamming their customers. Not buying into the hype is super, super important, and always be aware of that. You'll start to pick up on a trend. Your BS meter will come up, especially in the free Facebook groups for e-commerce. You're gonna see someone that drops value. Some people will, absolutely. Some people share great tips just to share, but a lot of times this is where a lot of the scammers and the sharks will come in, and they'll share value and put up some ridiculous post about hitting 10K in a day for the first time ever, and they'll share their top 7 tips, hoping you message them, ask them for help, and they charge you a bunch of money for a couple calls, or just sling a course at you for 1 or 2K, and don't actually provide value and assistance in the process. A lot of times we forget, yes, the playbook is very valuable and important, but in my opinion, the real value is the connection, the feedback, the support from like-minded people, from a community, which is what you're gonna find with the wolf pack if you make that choice, but also the person that's teaching, the person that's guiding you. Have that in mind as you make your next decision on getting help from someone. You have to remember, people don't have an unlimited amount of time in their day. If you ask someone a bunch of questions and they don't respond, or they only respond the first one, don't be super offended, because that person is probably running their own business. They're trying to get things done. They only have so much time to answer the countless questions that a bunch of people throw their way. This is why you need to value people's time and pay them for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for some help when you don't have the money, but when the time is right, when you're ready to move your business to the next level, there's nothing wrong or unethical with hiring and investing in someone to teach you hands-on, show you what to do, give you the feedback. Forget the courses. The courses are just a playbook. It's just like the lesson plan. What matters is that interaction, that communication with the coach, the teacher, the mentor. I hate to have those terms because it feels like scammy guru space. The next tip I have for you, the biggest mistake I made, was I really realized how much of copy and paste game this business has unfortunately become. People are not creative with their own ideas, with their own versions of copy, with their page design, right? And I've been guilty of this myself. This is just like the culture of dropshipping. It's kind of gross, in all honesty. But when you find that you break out of that cycle of seeing someone else running a product, you rip their video, you rip their ad copy, which is, you could say that's pretty unethical, I would say. Once again, I'm not innocent. I've done this in the past myself. What I do believe the best way to move forward is that you find your own products, you use AliExpress or wherever you're sourcing from, and you make your own content. And keep in mind, the cool thing is image ads work great, right? I had this belief and this mindset going back to being stuck in your ways, which was the first thing I shared. It's very easy to get stuck in your ways with seeing someone else having success with the product and just grabbing a video and their copy and basically copying everything about them, which is not cool, because someone will do it to you, be ready. But when you invest the time and you also find the product first, and you write your own copy, you have your own page, you Photoshop your own images, or you put together a killer presentation, you will get copied, most likely, if you are successful with whatever the product is that you're testing and scaling. But keep in mind, you will make the most monies by being the first person, the first mover on a product. The reason why I want to say this is because if you choose to make that investment of your time and energy and creativity into putting together a great presentation with the ad, with the landing page, you will not only be more in the ethical realm of dropshipping, but you also will find that you are going to make the most monies with it because you're the first mover on a product. Maybe when you're starting out, you want to test things that other people are selling. Cool, go for it. You have to learn somehow, and you will probably get more sales by testing products that are actively running, that are working for others, right? Just know you will make the most money if you find something that no one else is selling and you put together a banging presentation and you run it yourself. Another big mistake I made was I was learning from someone and he was insisting that we needed to let things just run. And this was one of my worst days. I can remember it was a couple years ago and we were in, I think it was maybe Vietnam or somewhere, and I looked at my order metrics, my report, and we were negative $2,500 for the day. And it was only 7 p.m. Eastern. So of course I immediately cut off my ads and like freaked out, and I was super stressed out, and it almost like threw my vacation off. But the thing is that I learned from this. I learned that you can't just blindly trust people that swear up and down they know what they're doing, unless you have a good gut feeling about them. I didn't have a good gut feeling about this person. I would never ask them for help again, looking back in hindsight, because sometimes you need to learn that lesson for yourself. I have just a habit and a tendency of learning things the hard way. That was a very hard way, but I have not made the same mistake since. I've trusted my gut more while getting feedback, perspective, and ideas from other people that I know are credible and have a good track record and success record. So that is really, really important. I just want to share that with you. Letting things run too long will lead to losses, especially if you don't know what you're doing, or if you're not very clear, or if you're blindly following someone else. There's a time and a place for that. Make sure you're in a good cash position before you try extreme new ideas. And this actually ties us to our last thing, which is becoming too emotionally attached to a product. And I've done this time after time after time again, and it's like I have to catch myself and stop myself when it's time to just let things go and move on. Because a lot of times you'll start a great product, a strong winner, and it'll be running great. You'll be doing 5, 10, 15K a day, whatever it is. You're putting 10, 15, 20% or more in your pocket. And then that slowly starts to dwindle, and then you relaunch ads, maybe you do an ad account, maybe you try a new profile, whatever it may be. Maybe you make some changes, your upsells, whatever it is. You adjust your approach, see if you get this thing come back to life. That's okay to do when you're more seasoned, when you're more experienced, when you have a better gauge and feel for how the algorithm works, how Facebook responds, when you can see the patterns and trends and understand the data. But the problem is when you do this for weeks at a time and you consistently just break even or lose money, you're not helping yourself, and you're surely not helping your bank account or your business. You're actually making things much harder for yourself. And this is something that we really want to focus on is, I've worked with guys that test super fast, and that can work. But I also believe there's a time to pace things and invest in creative design, split testing your landing page, things like that, right? Because there is always room for improvement. The product is the most important thing, which we'll talk about in our mini course or in our paid course and our community, which you can get the links for both the mini course for free and our Wolfpack Academy below as well. But more importantly, what I do want to say is that you can't become too emotionally attached to a product, because if you do, you can almost guarantee it that you're going to be looking back 1-2 months later being like, why did I spend so much time and money trying to get that thing to work? Because maybe it was literally the next product that you test that does amazing, that you're having killer numbers, that you're actually making more money than you were before. So have that in mind. This is not an easy business. Most people will fail. Most people will struggle. You have to really, really harden up and develop some grit if you want to be successful, because even when you find success and great numbers and strong profits, I can promise you that is when something comes out of nowhere and whacks you in the back, and then you're like thrown off, and then you're off your game, and you think there's something wrong with your ad account or your pixel or whatever it may be. But ultimately, it's time just to move on, find a new product, maybe connect with some new people, maybe buy a course like ours that shows you exactly what to do and has a killer community with it. But that's up to you. Start with our free mini course. We're going to show you step by step how to build a store from A to Z, and what to do once you find a product and how to test it and scale it safely. Okay, so go and check that out. In our next video, we're going to be sharing some really cool stuff. I want to do a mix of both these, just from the heart, just real talk with you, just me sharing my experience, my story, my journey, because I feel like that's actually the most valuable lesson sometimes, not just how to set up ads, and also a mix of the technical stuff too, because we are talking about something pretty technical and tech related. All right, have a great day, guys. Make sure to check out our free mini course below, and I'll see you in the next video.